Hi, second grade friends. So this week's reading lesson is going to be for Monday, May 11th. And in this week, we're going to be working with nonfiction stories. So for the past few weeks, we've been working solely with fiction stories. Fiction stories are fake, they're not real. We talked about how there can be realistic fiction where it seems real, but in fact, the characters are not people you can actually go call on the phone or meet up with. But we are switching gears now and we are moving into nonfiction. So nonfiction are real stories. Their purpose is to make us learn something. You get facts from them, and we've talked about facts in class. Facts are real information about a subject. So nonfiction books can be about literally anything that's true. It can be about a real person, animals, real places, real things. And a lot of times we talked about nonfiction books having text and graphic features, like text features like bold words or highlighted words. They may have a glossary in the back, which is like that little dictionary. It might have an index in the back where you can look up information by page number. There's usually chapter titles, headings. There's graphic features, pictures, graphs, maps, and most times in nonfiction stories, they have real pictures. So I had grabbed a few books from our classroom that we've read this year that are nonfiction, like Under the Warm Sea, where there's real pictures. Usually that's your biggest hint that it's a nonfiction book. Besides the fact that it's about something real, the pictures are in fact real. Let's Send a Letter. Again, another example of a nonfiction book. How to Grow Tomatoes. Now, we talked about sometimes there will be rule breakers where the pictures are cartoon pictures, but the topic is real. And when we get into it, the whole story is the step-by-step process for planting tomatoes. So even though they didn't use real pictures for this one, the topic is real. Rainbows. Same thing, real pictures. This one's got a good example of that index in the back where you can look up topics by page number. This one has the glossary, that little mini dictionary in the back. This one has a table of contents in the beginning where you can look up things by chapter title. So if you're looking up for a particular thing, it's in there. This one has bold words, the dark black words. Trying to make sure you can see it and I can see it. I don't know if this one has, and it has headings. So we know what we're going to read about on that next page or two, or until we hit the next heading. I don't know if this one has highlighted words. It's not looking like it. But those were just some of the examples. So today our purpose is going to be to read a nonfiction story, but to look for facts. So a way for you to monitor your comprehension, like last week, monitor your understanding, is to ask yourself questions every few pages, every page, by simply asking yourself, what did I learn on that page? So that's a quick way for you to figure out what facts you've learned. Now for that today in class, we give you Post-its, give you 3 of them. We tell you to go pick a nonfiction book on your level, to read it, and to ask yourself every few pages, what did I learn? And to write them down on Post-its and sentences. Now, you're not gonna have Post-its home, or maybe you do, but just so you don't lose them at home, take a piece of paper. You're gonna fold it into 4s. After you fold it into 4s, you're gonna open it back up, write facts huge on it. And there's going to be 4 boxes where you can tell us 3 or 4 things, whatever you come up with. You can even do more. You can flip it over the back and do 5, 6, 7, 8 if you want to do more. Facts you learned from the story we're going to read to you this week. Now, if you do not have nonfiction books at home, Storyline Online is not going to work this week for nonfiction books. But if you get on YouTube, if there's a particular topic you want to look up, that's fine. Reading A to Z is going to work beautiful here because there are nonfiction books on there. Look them up to practice. You should be practicing 30 minutes a day of reading anyway. It does not have to be nonfiction this week, but since that's what our theme is for this week and next, you might want to try. Today, I'm going to read you deserts. I'm going to go through with my Post-its. That's what I'm going to use today. But if I didn't have the Post-its, I'll show you. Just put them right in the box. And then our example that you're going to go do this week is going to be lessons about lightning. Okay? So let's get started. I'm going to hold the book this way. I'll show you the pictures. That way it doesn't look crazy on camera. Okay? So deserts. And this one has a nice little thing in the beginning of vocabulary words they wanted us to learn. So they wanted us to learn animals, early, eyes, full, warm, and water. So those were the vocab words this week. All right, deserts are dry places. They get very little water. So if I ask myself on that page, what did I just learn? Deserts have very little water. So I put it, as I drop it, I put it on a Post-it. If I didn't have Post-its, or like you're probably not at home, write it in the space inside your box. Okay, so that's what I just learned on that page about deserts. Next page. Deserts are hot early in the day. They get cool at night. You can ask yourself again, what did you learn? If you learned something, you write it on the Post-it, or you write it on your piece of paper that we just talked about. Good to go. Next page. Deserts are often sandy, dry places. They can be full of stones. Winds break the stones into sand. So what did I just learn on that page? Wind breaks stones into sand. Did not know that. So I wrote that on a Post-it. And I'm going to stick that in box number 2 for my facts. And I'll show you the pictures of the desert. Very sandy, very dry, not a lot of green, right? Deserts are home for plants. The plants get water from rain. They store the water in their leaves and stems. And you could ask yourself, what did you just learn on that page? But I'm not going to do that page. Next one. Deserts are home for animals. They go hunting when it gets cool at night. Their eyes often can see in the dark. So if I ask myself, what did I just learn on that page? Animals hunt at night when it gets cold. So I wrote that on a Post-it. But again, at home, I would just write that in box 3. If you get 3 or 4 facts, that's amazing. That's kind of what we're looking for. You should be stopping every few pages to ask yourself what you learned. That way you're monitoring your comprehension, you're making sure you learned something. So I'm only looking for 3 facts this week. Deserts are places people can visit. Would you like visiting a desert? And that is where the book ends. So that was a short example. But I went through and I wrote my 3 facts that I learned down. Deserts have very little water. Wind breaks stones into sand. Animals hunt at night when it gets cold. And then I left a space up here above facts where I could write the word deserts as my example. Now, I'm going to take my Post-its off. Again, fold your piece of paper into 4s. Write facts. And now the one you're going to do this week for me is lessons about lightning. So this might be a good place to pause your video so that you can write down the title on your paper. You're going to listen, and I'll stop every page and ask you, what did you learn? Your goal is to get at least 3 facts that you learned about your book. Aim for 4. If you'd like to do more, you flip over. There's 4 more boxes on the back, okay? All right, lessons about lightning. Ooh, this one's got highlighted words and headings and real pictures. And it even has labels. We'll talk about that in a second. Lightning and thunder. So that's the heading for this. During a thunderstorm, there may be pounding wind and rain. You may also see a flash of light in the sky. That bright sudden light is called lightning. Some people love to watch lightning. Other people think it's scary. And it can be. Lightning can cause a lot of damage. So everyone should be careful during a thunderstorm. Here we go with our heading. So I know what I'm going to learn on this page. Some of the highlighted vocabulary words they want us to pay attention to. And a label for the picture of what's happening. And it says, lightning lights up the sky. So those are some text and graphic features. What did you learn on that page? If you learned something, write it down in your graphic organizer. Next page. Have you heard thunder during a thunderstorm? Thunder is the sound that lightning makes. The speed of thunder is not equal to the speed of lightning. Sound travels more slowly than lightning. For that reason, when lightning strikes, you hear thunder after you see the lightning. So here's a picture of that, and I'll read you the caption in 1 second, but there was another highlighted word on the page, so another text feature. You see lightning strike before you hear thunder. So that's why you see the flash in the summertime before you hear it. What did you learn on that page? If you learned something, write it down on your graphic organizer. Lightning travels very fast. It travels much, much faster than an airplane or a space shuttle. In fact, lightning could travel from Earth to the moon in less than 3 seconds. Crazy. There's that. Oh, we got another label. So this label says lightning travels faster than an airplane. What did you learn on that page? If you learned something, write it down on your graphic organizer. You should be keeping track. How lightning is made. New heading. Lightning is a strong flash of electricity in the sky. You can make a spark that is very small, like a very small flash of lightning, go across a carpet, rubbing your feet as you do. Then touch a metal doorknob with your fingers. You may see a tiny spark and feel a tiny shock or tingle in your finger. The tiny spark is a very small example of a flash of lightning. Have you guys ever done that where you've shocked yourself on a door, you've shocked yourself touching someone? If you ever look down at your finger, you'll see a little spark jump. That's a very tiny example of lightning. And this one, the caption on the picture says, this girl may get a shock if she touches the doorknob. There's that tiny little spark we talked about. That's from the static electricity. So we had a heading. We had a caption for the picture. How lightning is made. Lightning is a huge spark. First, storm clouds fill up with raindrops and tiny pieces of ice, and then the raindrops and ice bump into one another. All that bumping causes electricity to build up, as it does when you rub your feet on the carpet. Once electricity builds up, a spark is made. That spark is lightning. Lightning may strike inside a cloud or between clouds, or lightning may reach the ground. So on this page, we just have one highlighted vocabulary word, and we have a label that says lightning forms in the clouds. If you learned something, write it down your graphic organizer. New heading, the dangers of lightning. Lightning is very powerful. Lightning is so powerful that it can split tree trunks. It can destroy telephone lines. It can even break apart brick walls. And this caption in this page says, lightning can split a tree trunk. So we have a new caption, new heading. Interesting, right? Lightning is also very hot. It is hotter than the outside of the sun. Lightning is so hot that it can cause fires. In fact, it causes thousands of forest fires every year. And there's a little caption that says, lightning starts many forest fires. Crazy. Lightning often hits tall buildings. A lightning rod can keep these buildings safe. That's that little point on top of buildings, if you ever looked at the top of very tall buildings. A lightning rod is a metal rod attached to the top of the building. The tip of the rod is higher than the rest of the building. A wire runs through the rod to the ground. If lightning strikes, it hits the rod and not the building. The electricity runs through the wire and into the ground. That way, the building will not be damaged. So it's to prevent the buildings from burning down during a storm. And it says a lightning rod protects tall buildings. So we have our caption for the picture. And then that page. Next page, lightning can damage forests and buildings. It can also hurt people. Lightning strikes people every year. Lightning can burn people. Sometimes people get hurt when lightning knocks them down. And it says lightning can be dangerous. That's why they always tell you not to play outside during a lightning and thunderstorm. Very few people die from being hit by lightning. Most of them live to tell their family and friends about what happened, but you should beware of lightning during a thunderstorm. It is a good idea to avoid taking chances. If you follow some important safety rules, you can prevent dangerous accidents. It says when people are hit by lightning, they should see a doctor. So we have some highlighted words in the caption for that picture. Safety rules about lightning. New caption. Here are some rules to follow if you are outdoors when a thunderstorm strikes. If you're swimming, get out of the water. If you're in a boat, go to shore. Go indoors if you can. If you cannot go indoors, don't stand under a tree. Don't stand in an open area. Try not to be the tallest object. Let me try that again. Try not to be the tallest object around. Bend over or crouch down, but don't lie on the ground. And it says these people are staying out of the water to be safe. So we've had a new heading, highlighted word, and a caption for the picture. So those are some important safety rules to remember, especially this summer when we have lots of thunderstorms. Here are rules to follow if you are indoors or in a car during a thunderstorm. If you're in a car, stay in the car. Don't get out unless you can go inside a house. If you are inside a house, stay away from windows. Don't take a bath or shower during a thunderstorm. Don't use the telephone. So if you have a phone that's attached to the wall, not a cell phone. Don't use electrical items such as hair dryers or electric toothbrushes. And it says this family is staying in the car during the thunderstorm. So we had a caption, some safety rules if you're in a car or in a house during a thunderstorm. If you learned something, write it down in your graphic organizer. Okay, our last page. Some people find thunderstorms exciting, but they should never forget that thunderstorms can be dangerous. Other people are frightened by thunderstorms. These people should remember that thunderstorms do not have to be scary. If they obey the safety rules, they do not have to worry. And it says thunderstorms can be beautiful to see. So that was our caption for this picture. Okay, so your job, hopefully while you were listening to the story, Lessons About Lightning, put that down, you can tell me 3 or 4 things that you learned from Lessons About Lightning. Bring that with you this week to our Zoom meeting. This Zoom meeting will be on Wednesday, May 13th. Can't believe we're already that far into May. Well, we love you guys. Make sure you're getting on to iReady and doing math and reading 30 minutes a day. You should be doing that tomorrow, Tuesday, and Thursday. Make sure it's at least 30. You should be reading 30 minutes a day, every day. If you want to practice other nonfiction books this week, check out YouTube. You have books at home you can use, or for As Kids, Reading A to Z Kids, we'll have tons of nonfiction books, okay? We love you guys. Have a good week. Be safe. Be good. See you soon. Bye.